Mr. L.I. Joe, obviously on the East Coast, also back on his feet, back working and everything like that, and he has to get up super early tomorrow morning. So as opposed to starting with the topic as we usually do and then jumping to the interview, we're actually going to go straight to interviewing Mr. L.I. Joe directly, and we get to see a nice, let me see if I can pull them up over here. Where is my group? There it is. And pow, there we go. Mr. L.I. Joe, is he?
Hey!
Did he freeze on me? Oh my god, my Discord just went crazy. Oh no, that's just him. He pulled.
He did such a good job of freezing that you thought your Discord
No,
died.
my
Nope,
Discord
it's just L.I.
actually did die at the same time that he police squatted me there, but you know.
Genius.
Wait, hold on. Can they see Cactar though? Or
No, they can't.
No,
see
no,
that
no, no,
card.
they
Yeah.
can't.
I'm just a total idiot right now. That's great. Yeah, okay, you
Correct.
got it. All right. So just so the stream knows, I see a picture of Cactar. James's picture is Cactar, hence the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you did that. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Now it makes more sense. I just don't look like a total idiot, I guess.
I was kind of hoping it would be an in-joke between only you and me this entire time. But okay, fine. I'll have it explained. Even James didn't get it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even think about what that was.
All right,
Ow!
well, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Much obliged.
No, thank you guys very, very, very much. You know, I've always this is a good opportunity for me to talk about it. I didn't really talk about it much. Like I kind of made some initial tweets to keep some people in the loop, and then I was just kind of like, I don't want to do this all the time. So I think this is a good opportunity. So I appreciate it, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, I
No
mean,
problem.
it's just one of those things that, you know, COVID obviously has been a big deal. It's affecting all of our lives. We're all still going through it and everything like that. And, you know, I think I just felt like it would be a good idea to talk to people who have, you know, obviously contracted it and have managed to succeed and defeat it, basically. And, you know, just kind of talk about the things. Obviously, not everybody has been so fortunate. We've definitely lost some people already in the FGC, you know, and many just loved ones in general to the disease and stuff. But, you know, just...
Yeah, we haven't been talking that much about it over the past couple of weeks because I know that, you know, many people watch the show to not have to deal with that. And I totally get that. And for me, this is also a nice respite of like not having to talk about it. You know?
Yeah. A little bit of escape.
Exactly right. Yeah. But that said, I do think that it's really worth talking about for the reasons that you guys already addressed. This is something that obviously we're all dealing with, and you have dealt with it much more personally than I have or than James has. So
Yeah.
I think we should just get to talking about it.
Yeah, no, cool. Let's go. And by the way, you guys can ask anything. So don't feel like, should I say it? Just let it out.
Okay. Then my first question is, how much do you love me, Joe? I mean, seriously.
Oh my God, tremendously. David too. I'm a real big fan of you guys. Real big fan of David and James. I really am.
All right.
I love you so much, Joe. Come on. I mean,
Big fan of you guys.
people don't even... That's actually a bit of lore, right? People don't know you as I Love You, Joe anymore.
Yeah, that was my Kylera name. That was my first like FGC name. I downloaded Kylera and I was playing Last Blade 2 and Samurai Showdown and SVC Chaos and KOF 2003 and 2
Oh, I used
and
to play
98.
2003. Sick.
Yeah.
How many people...
Yeah.
Also, how many people know about Joey Doubles? Just curious about that.
The DDR days are kind of like, that's like, whew, Jesus. Honestly, not a lot of people. I didn't really play much, especially when I started playing fighting games more. Like, I didn't go to Chinatown to play DDR. Like, I'd play, like, a song with somebody, and they'd be like, oh my God, you can play it. Like, yeah, but I don't want to sweat. It's gross. I just want to play Third Strike. I just want to play Third Strike.
Oh, man.
All right, so I guess let's start by talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just to say right up front, you're feeling okay now.
I
Before
feel
we have the conversation.
completely fine. Yeah, totally back to normal. Like I said, I'm back to work and everything.
Okay.
Totally good.
Now, have you actually had a follow-up test that shows that you are completely, like, cleared of it now?
No,
Okay.
have not. So, my birthday was March 27th, so I got it before my birthday. So this was like, I want to say like March 23rd, 22nd or something along those lines. So it was when it first started getting like, wow, this is pretty serious and there's no testing and no one can get tests. So the only reason why I got the test was because my brother owns the house. This is a basement apartment underneath my brother. My brother's girlfriend is a nurse and she works in a hospital where there are confirmed cases. She works around them all day.
Okay.
So I got sick one day and I went to the doctor and they said, because she just went to the doctor truly hours before I went. The same doctor. So she got tested and my brother was like, he lives with us. My girlfriend just came here, got tested, blah, 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 blah. So they wound up giving me a test. But the idea for them to not I don't want to say waste a test, but after you do the quarantine, it's all over, they just say, no, that's it. Like, they're not going to give, again, I don't want to say waste a test, but since tests were so scarce back in the first week of April, the end of March, they weren't going to give me another test since they knew I already had it. I did my quarantine, and I actually spoke to the Department of Health. I didn't even talk to a doctor. I called the Department of Health just to make sure, because, my dad is 75, 76 or something. So the last thing I want to do is be around my dad, So I was calling the Department of Health like my dad was. I'm like, Dad, do not come here. Don't even call me on the phone. It's going to get through the wires. You're going to get sick. I was like, don't even think about me until 2 weeks. So, again, I called the Department of Health, and they just said, you did your 2 weeks? I said, yes, I did. I did, it was more than 2 weeks. It was probably 17 days or 18 days, because you have to be symptom-free for 72 hours. You can't have a headache. You can't, sneeze. You have to be completely symptom-free. So after your 14 days, if you show symptoms on day 14, you just brought yourself another 72 hours of isolation. And so, unfortunately, I felt like shit the last day. I actually had a fever. It was this very small fever. It was like a 99.9 or something. But again, being around my dad and stuff, I was not taking any chances. Called the Department of Health. They said, nope, you got to wait 3 more days. Called the Department of Health again, and they said, you're good. And I was like, I don't have to get tested again? They're like, nope, you're good. They're probably not going to give you tests anyway. So as long as you did what you're supposed to do and you're good to go. I was like, okay, I hope so.
Well,
that was it.
Let's take it from the beginning of it and just sort of go through the timeline. Yeah. So how do you think that you got sick in the first place? Yeah,
I have no idea. I really don't know. I work in probably the worst part of the boroughs when it was first starting. So my job is located in deep. I know if you guys don't it's almost near Queens on Long Island. Now the whole spot, like Brooklyn, Queens, and some areas was very, 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 very bad. Manhattan, it was extremely bad. So I pretty much worked in the heart of it. And the thing is, I work for a delivery service. So my team would go out on deliveries and be exposed to the elements everywhere where it's bad. Then they would come back and I would take their things and I would shake their hand. You know what I mean? It could have been anything, but I'm going to guess I got it from someone at my job.
Now,
when was that thereabouts?
Say again, sorry?
And about when was that?
Again, my birthday was March 27th. It was before my birthday, so it had to be the middle of March. It had to be around the middle of March, 2nd or 3rd week of March, around there, yeah.
So,
even when they test you, you don't know how long you've had. I could have had it for 2 weeks already, but they just happened to test me then, and I got it. So there's no way to know, when. I guess that there might be. They just said, "Oh, you haven't." I was like, "Oh shit, great."
Yeah.
We knew that there was an epidemic going on. I don't remember when it was called a pandemic, but it was around the middle of March.
Yeah.
And around the middle of March is when. I am living in Los Angeles, began to hear and read stories out of New York of all the cases that were beginning, right around then. Had social distancing started at the time that you think that you got sick?
No, not really. Yeah, not really. I feel there's no way. There's no way, because it was still my job just closed down. Not closed down, but they actually said, you know what, we're gonna stop all production for a while, or whatever. So my job just closed down. So it wasn't like it it wasn't during the whole like hard part. It was like right at the beginning. So yeah, again, it had to be like I said, the second week of March or third week of March or something.
People in the chat are saying that pandemic was called on March 13th, and but I remember around that time, I don't think we were taking it as seriously as we were
absolutely.
as we are right now. Now,
of course,
did anybody else at your job get tested positive for this, or
I don't know, only because when I was fine going to work, my job said, all right, everybody go home for at least 2 weeks. We'll figure it out. We'll keep in touch. So I was already home, and I didn't really talk to anybody when I got it. But when I did get it, the Department of Health told me to make sure that I call people that I was around.
Right.
So, of course, I called my direct regional director manager, and told them like, hey, like I was found positive. So then they started reaching out to people. So I don't know if anybody got. I heard like rumblings, and now since it's still obviously a pandemic, I'm working again, but not the whole business isn't working. So there might be people that aren't back at work that I haven't spoken to that did actually contract it. So I'm not really sure if anyone else at my job got it.
So when you began feeling sick, just take us through like the experience of feeling sick. What was it like? What were the symptoms? All that.
So I think I want to say it was a Saturday. I'm gonna just stick with the Saturday because I won't. Screw it. Whatever. We're gonna say Saturday. So
these details are important, Joe. They're going on court record here. Okay.
on Saturday night, I remember being like, when you start to when you're not sick, but you're like, damn, I'm gonna wake up and I'm not gonna feel great. Like you feel generally okay, but your throat feels a little weird, or like just something in your body. You're like, I'm gonna get sick. Yep. So I was sitting right in this chair, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get sick. So I laid down, and I remember waking up throughout the night on Sunday, like being like, oh, I'm sick. But then I went back to bed. So I woke up, and this is the time where my girlfriend was still here, and I remember telling her like, I don't feel good. My body hurt. See, there was no cough at the start. I wasn't coughing. My throat didn't hurt. My head was just killing me, and my body hurt. Like from my waist down, hurt like never before. Sometimes you get body aches when you get the flu, whatever. But from my waist down was hurting so bad. So I remember I got up. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go get us breakfast. I drove to McDonald's. I remember clear as I drove to McDonald's, and I remember being in the drive-thru, and I was like, I really feel terrible. Like it just got worse. So I got the food, and I sat on my bed, and I couldn't eat the food. I ate a little bit of it. I closed it, and that was it. Like I laid on my bed, and I had probably the worst headache I've ever had in my life. I didn't move. I laid in my bed, and I just didn't move whatsoever. My girlfriend went upstairs to get my brother because she was very, very nervous. Like I wasn't moving. I was just staying still. Again, just crazy headache. My body was hurting. So my brother came downstairs, and he said he just took his girlfriend to get checked. Let's go. So I remember getting up and being like really dizzy and stuff. Then I went to the doctor, and I had my head down the entire time. They tested me. They put the thing in your nose. They swish it around a little bit. It didn't really hurt that bad. It just feels like a little kind of weirdly uncomfortable. And then that's it. I came back home, and again, just a crazy headache. So I didn't move for the entire time. The next day, day 2, I woke up, and my headache was kind of gone, but my throat hurt a little bit. And I was like, now my throat hurts a little bit. And then the next day, so the third day, the same thing. My throat hurt, and then I started coughing a little. And I'm like, oh, I'm coughing. And then they called me and said, yeah, you got it. So and that was it. And then but the thing is, like, people always say, what were you coughing? Could you breathe? But I was like, no, I had like the headache part, had the fever and the headache. Then I had the sore throat, and then I had the cough and the sore throat. And the cough lasted for, I'll say 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like I was coughing, and when I was trying to stream or make YouTube content, I was always like huffing and puffing and trying to clear my throat, and just like it was bad. It was bad. But just that one initial day was probably the sickest I've ever been. one of the sickest I've ever been, just for that one solid day.
Huh.
No.
You didn't have the chest issues that we hear so often about, right? People saying that their chest feels like somebody's sitting on it. That wasn't your experience.
No, and I have asthma too, but I didn't feel it. The only thing chest-wise was if I would breathe deep. You know when you're in the pool for a long time and you get like waterlogged, I think it's called. It's like a weird feeling like when you breathe in after being in the pool.
Yeah.
And like messes with your lungs a little bit. That's what I felt like. I'd breathe in, and I would have to cough. Like if I was like, the deeper I got, the more I'd have to cough.
Yeah.
And then even just like staying still or talking or laughing or anything where it would like expand or contract my lungs, I felt like I would have to cough. And it wasn't really coughing like I was coughing something up. It was coughing because I couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? Very, very weird. Yeah, very, very, very weird feeling. But yeah, the first day, excuse me, the rest of the time it was just a constant like, I could breathe, but I can tell like it wasn't normal. You know, it was certainly not a normal taking breaths. Like I said, even when talking or whatever, laughing, very, very weird, very weird.
So what was going on with lower body pain? I don't think that I had heard about that symptom before.
Oh man, yeah. my legs were like, it was like the flu. You ever get the flu and like your body aches a little bit, like your back hurts and things like it was felt just like that. But from my waist down, my legs, like my thighs, it just felt like everything was sore. Like I ran 13 miles and then, you know what I'm saying? Then I just stood still. Everything from my waist down was just aching and hurting. It was not great.
Now, so obviously, like one of the things that always like concerns me. So you were around your girlfriend, your brother. They're okay, right? Yeah. Like I said, she was at my house for 2 weeks before I was found positive. She was at my house like 15 or 16 days, so I had to have it around her. But when the day I was sick, we like kind of started like she would sleep on one side of the bed and I would sleep on the other, like completely apart, not next to each other. We would sleep like that way, like, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't interact at all much. Well, obviously we interacted, but we did our best to stay away. And then when I got sick, you know, she obviously went home and she did isolate as well, just in case, because her, you know, she has parents and loved ones that are old, just like my dad, so we don't want to put anybody else at risk. So she went home. I'm not sure. I don't think she got tested, but she just said, you know what? She made some calls and they said, just act like you have it, just in case, is the best thing to do. And they were telling a lot of people to do that. They actually did tell somebody at my job. They said, if you were around somebody and you feel sick, act like you got it. That's it. Just act like you got it so you don't spread it or anything. She says in the chat that, you know, she was asymptomatic, but she actually lost taste and smell for a little bit.
Yeah, that's like an early symptom too, I think, the taste and the smell.
Because that's always one of the terrifying things to me, right? Because like if you're sick like that, obviously loved ones can't really take care of you because you know, you don't want them to catch it. So I mean, it really is just, you have to just be there by yourself, kind of suffering through it and trying to make sure that you can, you know, fend for yourself in those kind of situations.
It's when I spoke to the Department of Health, because after I got it, they contacted me and they asked me about my living conditions. They said, who do you live with? Where do you live? All these other kind of crazy questions. And I told them I live with my brother, and they asked me 1,000 questions about where is he, what's the distance between us, is it the same entrance, do you guys share a bathroom? I'm like, no, it's completely, he lives upstairs, I live downstairs. And they were like, that's probably the best condition you can have right now, because if you need something, he's upstairs. So what they would do is, when they would cook dinner, they would just leave me a plate at the steps, and I would just go to the steps and take my plate, and I would eat it right here, and then I'd bring the plate back. And it was even paper plates. I'm like, don't even give me a real fork. Like, give me a paper plate, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. If there's anything you do give me, I'll put it back on the stairs. Even my dad would buy breakfast, and he'd leave it. He'd, like, scream my name. I'd open the door. I'd look up, and he would throw me, like, loaves of bread and stuff down the stairs. Even on my birthday, they had a cake, because I actually had it on my birthday. So they opened up the door, and they were on the stairs with a cake, and they were like FaceTiming my dad, and I was like staying really far away from them, like, "Hi, everybody, thanks for the cake." They left the cake on the steps, and then I brought the cake in here and I ate it.
Nice.
Oh man.
So they were okay the whole time then, your brother?
Yeah. Everybody,
cool.
nobody that I was around, thankfully, got it. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk to Eliver a little bit later on, but I mean, the amount of people that we've heard of caught it, and then just been around other people, I'm honestly feeling like there are so many more people that are asymptomatic than we know. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just feel like, gosh, the numbers that we have, if we had the ability to test everybody, I mean, after this whole thing is done, I feel like they need to just test everybody to see if they've had it at some point in time. Because I know there is a test that can do that. And just so we can get like accurate numbers, I mean, you know, because it's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's what's happened with previous pandemics, to kind of figure things out afterward. And I'm sure that'll happen in this case too.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not the only person that we know who had it in New York. Other FGC folks as well. Did you know BlueJ?
Yes, I did know BlueJ. Yes, yep.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I've known him for a while. He was like around CF a little bit back in the day, in the day. So we were always cool. Like he was just diehard Marvel 2. Like it wasn't about anything else. Like he just wanted to play Marvel 2. So if he ever went to an event, he was chilling and he was just playing Marvel 2. You know, all the stuff that they do for Marvel 2 is all done at his house. We were at Chris's wedding together. When Chris Matrix got married, he was there. I was there with him. It was weird. You know, it was that's when I started. I don't want to say that I got nervous, but it's like, yo, this guy that I've known for a long time, like he has it, and he's no longer here, but like I'm still here. It's a very like weird. It's hard to explain. It was a little uncomfortable. I was talking to Yipes about it. It's weird. It's very, very like, I don't want to say that could have been me, but then you get those. Your mind cannot help but think that way. Like you really don't have a choice. It's just the way the mind works. So I'm just like, damn, like that could have been me. Like after that happened, and I started seeing I never really considered it like I was a survivor or anything like that. Because people had it way worse than me. People were in the hospital for weeks and on machines, and they can't breathe. I was just locked in my apartment playing video games, streaming, and coughing. You know, like I got it, but I just feel like it's almost like I didn't get it, even though I did have it. You know, I just didn't have that severe case where I was stuck in the hospital for a week. So it makes me feel really, really weird thinking about other people that had it and the difficulty or not even being here anymore. And I'm, you know, like I managed to, thank God, you know, get over it. But seeing numbers and cases, and there's like, holy shit, one of those is me. Like I'm that one. Like at the end of it, that's me. 0-1, that's me. It's just a very, very weird freaking feeling. And it's, I don't know, really hard to explain, especially like, again, when you know someone who's involved in the same thing, who grew up playing the same games, who knows the same people, the same community, and like he's no longer here. It's, God, it's weird. It's very weird.
I mean, does it kind of, do you feel like you have like a different outlook now on life? Does it feel like
I would say, maybe not. I've always had this outlook, honestly. That's why in my life, when my mom passed at a younger age, like everything in my life, I don't want to say rolls off my shoulders, but I know the value of being able to wake up tomorrow and, you know, just always have a good outlook on things. Just try to be a good person and just try to do the right thing and just live your life the best you can while you can, because unfortunately it's not the same case for everybody, you know. So it was just like another like, hey man, like don't forget, you know, don't forget. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable to think of yourself as being a survivor, and it's not just about the physical aspect of it, right? There's obviously physical suffering with it, but yeah, I would imagine, not being in that position, but I would imagine that along with that, sort of naturally comes also a sort of mental attack as well, right? I mean, you are one of those stats, and one of our friends, did pass away.
Yeah.
I don't know. How are you taking it mentally, emotionally? Is it tough?
Yeah, no, it wasn't too tough. That was the hardest part. Me having it, the hardest part was hearing about BlueJ passing. That was easily, without a doubt, that was worse than being sick or having a fever or coughing. It was easily because, like, again, like you just said it, like you have to mentally take that in. You know what I mean? Like, and then be like, holy shit, like I had that, like that could have been me. What if it was me? What if I die? Then you start thinking about everybody else. What about my family? What about my friends? Then holy shit, I had it. He might have had a pre-existing health issue. My dad has a heart problem. Holy shit, my dad's gonna, your brain just starts going completely crazy. That was, hearing about BlueJ was the worst part of having it, easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough for everybody,
Yeah.
I didn't have the sickness, and I didn't know BlueJ very well, but I still know lots of people who he knows.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, rest in peace. That's
Yeah.
terrible stuff.
I mean, some people in the chat were mentioning this, but I mean, obviously, it's not one of those situations where you want to be like, you guys are stupid or anything like that. But there's some people out there who really do still think that this is a hoax or that this isn't a real kind of situation.
Yeah.
And if you had a message for them, like what would you want to tell them?
Whew, damn, James, that was a good one.
Because look,
well,
you're L.I. Joe. You inspire a lot of people. Okay, you are known. You are like I said this in a tweet. If anyone was going to catch it and recover and make it a feel good story, it was going to be you, right? So, because I mean, you did put out the tweets with the birthday and all this stuff like this, and you had all this emotional support and everything. But as a figure, as an inspirational person in the community, what would you tell the FGC, the other gamers out there who may come across this interview, and just the other people that may come across this?
Yeah, I would just say, like, to David's thumbs down, like, this needs to be taken seriously. Like, I understand that it sucks being locked in your home and not being able to do things, and people are thinking about, oh, what's my summer going to look like? Like, screw your summer. Don't you want to live the rest of your life? Like, like, who cares about a stupid summer? Who cares about going to the gym or, you know what I mean? Like getting your hair cut, like these are like really, really trivial things, as opposed to being able to live your life and see what happens in your future and see what happens to the world and see what happens to video games or fighting games or the community. Like, that will disappear if you don't take this seriously. Like, it'll disappear for you, or anybody if we don't really take this seriously. That's why I agree with events stopping, and I agree with what's going on. Like, I really do. I have a paper. I could send you a picture that it says that I have COVID-19. I have a document. I have an email document that says this gentleman is positive. Our friend is no longer here. He's gone. We'll never see him again. And other people, it's happened to other people too. Just because it's not in your bubble doesn't mean that it's not going on outside your bubble. I just think it does just have to be taken like really, really, really serious. Like, the only way that we're going to do this, and we are going to overcome it, that everybody has to believe and do the same thing. If you're out doing whatever, acting like it's not going to happen, even though you don't have it, you could harm someone else. You know what I mean? Like, again, I always go back, and I hate saying it because God forbid, but I always use my dad as an example. Like, like, he's a healthy guy, but God forbid he does get it. He's more likely to not make it out of it due to his age and any kind of pre-existing health issue. Like, it's scary. So even if you're not worried about you, like, how could you not worry about everybody else around you? Like, how do you not? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But
I mean, literally,
who am I?
Literally, I was going to see my parents like maybe a month ago or something, and I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll come home, I'll see you and everything. And then just like the day before, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't see them, and I had to call my parents, and I was like, no, I'm not coming home. I can't do this. Like, I know my parents are suffering because they miss me and my brother and their grandkids, so much, my nephews. But like, I was just like, I couldn't do this. Like, if I went there and I turned out to be asymptomatic, and I actually have reason to kind of believe that I am a little asymptomatic, but like, I could never live with myself, in that kind of situation.
Absolutely. That's the only thing that I really think about. I mean, now I'm glad that I said even back in the day, like, if anyone is gonna get it, I want it to be me. Like, my brother would be a wreck. My dad is too old. My sister has a whole family she has to take care of. I was like, if anyone needs to get this, like, it needs to be me. It needs to be, because I'll be able to handle it. Oh, all right, like, I feel like I don't know, but I just would have been graciously, and I said it, like I said, before I got it, I said, if anyone gets it, please give it to me. Please give it to me. I'll be able to handle it. I'll sit down here and play games for 2 weeks. Lock me up, throw away the key, but just, I'll take it. I will gladly take it with open arms. And I was like, oh, look at that. You got it, kid.
Well, I wish you hadn't, but okay.
Look at that. You got it.
Congratulations. You got your wish.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So you are back at work now?
Yes. I go to work every day. I have to wear a mask and work. We all do. Everybody wears a mask. I actually have to take everybody's temperature before they come in the door and stuff. So it's pretty crazy.
Dang, dude.
Now has the Department of Health told you anything about the possibility of, because we don't know, we're not 100% sure if you've had it, if that means you're now immune, right?
Yeah.
So
no, they didn't say anything like that. I do still want to go get the antibody test, and I was even going to try and see if I can give blood, because you are able to give blood if you had it after a certain amount of time, because you build the antibodies for it, and then they actually use that for testing and for other things to help fight the virus and things. So I was going to go do that, but they actually ask you to wait like 2 weeks or so since you're clear to actually go give blood for it.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to say that we haven't talked about? Anything else you'd like to address?
No, I just want to thank you guys. I will say one thing is that I do, if there was a sort of silver line, I know it's really hard to think about, especially with what it's done to the FGC and stuff, but I really like seeing everybody playing different games. I really like seeing everybody playing different games. Like, there's been a lot of people are playing KI and other people are playing like MK. I feel like everyone is just branching out because we're all stuck at home. Like, you know what? I want to learn this game. I think it's really cool seeing everybody enjoy other games. Like, I think that's really cool. That's the only thing I would actually really. I love seeing it. So.
Cool, man. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, I don't know how good of a story that can be or come out of this, but as far as FGC goes, it is cool to see people dabbling in other things like that. It's sick. I'm all for it. I'm actually gonna play in the next KI beginner tournament thingamajig.
Oh, nice.
Let's play KI. I've been playing KI again.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I spoke to I spoke to Nikki.
Okay.
Because I was like, yo, like, let me play. And then he was like, yo, the next one, I swear to God, you'll be in the next one. I already have, like, everyone already entered for it. I'm like, yo, next one, let me in. Let me play. I just like playing new shit. So I'm like, yeah, I'll play. Screw it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So, when the next tournament comes, I'm gonna play KI. So.
One more question for you before you go.
Absolutely. No, go ahead, man. Whatever.
So, obviously, ECT has been postponed. You already know the next year's date. I mean, you having caught it, how much did that go into affecting your decision? Because you canceled even before registration started.
Yeah,
So,
we kind of lucked out a little bit, honestly.
Yeah.
It was especially talking to like the guys at Evo and being like, and just hearing it all, just like, you know what, let's just all take a break. You know what I mean? Let's just all take a break. Imagine us being the one tournament, right? Even if it is October, imagine being the one tournament and you're like, oh yeah, I went to ECT and I got COVID, and it's just not, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. I think it's a good idea just to chill for a year, let everybody play, everybody dabble in their different games and stuff, and then we'll reconvene in 6 months or whatever next year, and then hopefully it'll be like a bigger, better, and brighter future for FGC and people and everything else.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, again, thanks a lot for coming on.
Yeah, of course, man.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, that's it. You see these grays? You see these grays, David? I'm going to bed.
I do.
Dude,
I got my own. I just happened to shave yesterday. But...
you look beautiful.
I like the beard. I like it.
Yeah, you look beautiful with the beard, Joe.
Oh God, I gotta shave soon. I'll shave at the next at the first event I go to. I'll shave.
Wow, you're gonna be a bear by then. Okay. Okay. All right, dude.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for coming
Thanks,
on.
guys. You got it, man.
All right. Well, thanks again to Joe for hopping on here. Oh boy.
Yeah, don't worry. We've got the wrong view here and everything, so I'll get that straightened up in just a second. So.
All right. Well, while you're getting that all set up, let's welcome on our next guest, Eliver Ling,
Okay, there we go.
who is currently muted.
Yes, unmute yourself, Eliver.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
And thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
What is happening?
Totally. So, like with Joe, we wanted to chat with you because you have your own experience with COVID-19.
That's
And
correct. Yeah.
we just like with Joe as well, we want to talk with you about how do you think you got it? What's your experience been like? How are you feeling now? First of all, before we get through the whole story of it, are you feeling okay right now?
Oh, I feel great. I basically feel 100% right now. So I was ordered to be in isolation for 2 weeks after the day of my test. And so today is my last day in isolation. So tomorrow I'm basically free to go in, and I don't want to say go out and do whatever I want, but
Yeah.
like they change their off by tomorrow.
All right, dude. Well, okay, then let's go back to the start. How do you think you got it? Any idea?
Okay, so a little bit background about my living situation. I live in a house with 3 other people. That includes Tasty Steve, Nerd Josh, and Kizzy K. So as the numbers of COVID started to climb, I started to notice that, there were a couple more popping up in my area. So I told Steve, Josh, and Kizzy that, it might be best for our grocery runs, our weekly grocery runs, well, we just leave it to me to go out and get it. So it's like we're not increasing our risk of infection or anything. So just write down everything you need to pick up. I'll go out. I'll grab everything we need. Then I'll come back. So I do that every Sunday or Monday. And then I noticed it was on a Thursday, April 23rd, to be specific, when I started getting a little bit of a cough. Now, this cough I was getting, it was no more serious than some of the colds I got. And on top of that, it was allergy season. So I really didn't think much of it at the time. So the next day on Friday, I just remember I was doing this martial arts workout with my sensei over Zoom. And at the end, I just remember laying on the floor and being like, man, I feel tired. Now, mind you, every week he pushes me to my limit. So I thought that was normal, and I thought I was just being lazy, but I saw nothing of it. And then the Monday after that, I saw my parents. And so then I just started thinking, this cough feels like nothing. Maybe I should just go get tested. And I got tested on that Wednesday. A week later, I found out I was positive. So my guess is that I got it on one of my supply runs, going grocery shopping. And this is when I'm already putting on a mask. I'm sanitizing my hands every time I leave my car, every time I come back. And even when I get back to the house, I wash my hands again.
Hard to be more careful than that.
Yeah.
Now, so you said you saw your parents, and you obviously live in the
Yes.
same house as Steve, Josh, and Kizzy. Have
Yeah.
they gotten tested, and how are they doing right now?
So I got a little bit of a scare because the day after I tested, so that Friday, my mom hits me up, and then she asked me if I could take my dad to the doctor because he was having some breathing problems the night before. So in my head, I'm thinking, like, the thought of the test at this moment, I'm still thinking, like, oh, I'm probably negative, and so this sounds a little more serious. So I'm just gonna go take him to the doctor, and then everything will be okay. And the doctor gave him some medicine, fine. And it was the following week when I found out I tested positive. And so he was the first person I called. I told him, get tested right now. And so luckily, and both my parents are in their 70s, like Joe's dad, so they're high risk. And I just got word back a few days ago that my dad tested negative, so I got blessed with that, and he also tested negative for antibodies, so he's never had it.
Okay.
But it also rules out the possibility that I got this from my parents. But other than that, yeah, I mean, this was pretty much the best case scenario was for me to get it, because I could handle it. I've handled it about as well as I could have. And the worst symptom I've had was like really just a cough and a little bit sensitivity to anytime I would eat something hot, the steam would tickle my throat and I'd start coughing. Like that's kind of a new feeling, but the cough still is it's a lot weaker than even the weakest cold I've ever had.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, this is the whole thing, right? So what about Kizzy, Josh, and Steve? Have they gotten tested at all?
So today's my last day of isolation. Tomorrow I've already scheduled for myself to get tested again. And Kizzy, Josh, and Steve are all coming with me. We're all going to get our tests like at the drive-thru.
Right.
As a little bit of backstory, here in Los Angeles, where they are as well, the government has made it available, free to test, and you can schedule testing if you'd like to. My understanding is that they're more likely to give you those tests earlier if you are experiencing symptoms. But if you're not experiencing symptoms, they'll still give you the test. You just got to make an appointment. So is that what they did?
Yeah, I mean, I had a cough, and so that's already symptoms. So technically, I was online.
For you, for sure.
Yeah. And then in the house, Josh had a cough around the same time I did. So, yeah, there's a good shot he has it. I haven't noticed anything with Kizzy or Steve, but yeah, we're all going to get tested tomorrow. And so the testing process, it's a little different from the one Joe did. So we drive up to a tent, they check us in, and then we drive up to the next tent where they will give us these testing kits. Inside is the test tube and a cotton swab. And then instead of going through your nose, we swab the back of our throat after doing like 3 really heavy coughs. And so then we put the cotton swab into the test tube and just drop it off in a bin on our way out. And the whole thing takes like 5 minutes.
Wow. And are you and your housemates like interacting at all, or how are you navigating that?
So the moment I found out I was positive, I messaged everyone right away. And so basically we spend most of our time in the rooms. So anytime I go out, I put on the mask. I wash my hands before I go out again. I also brought out all the disposable utensils and paper plates and everything, because I'm not using any of the regular dishes. And we just respect the 6-foot rule as well, and like try not to come in any close contact with one another.
Do you guys have like separate bathrooms and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have my own bathroom. Josh and Kizzy share one, and Steve has his own.
Okay, gotcha. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because there is probably a pretty decent chance that all 4 of you probably have it. That maybe
at one point in time or another. So
yeah, and which means that
we've seen over like the past couple months that everyone's been responding to it differently, and so yeah, some people have been asymptomatic the whole time, and then others have unfortunately taken the worst of it. So I'm just I'm hoping for the best, and if anyone else had it other than me, I'm just hoping that the worst is over and now they have antibodies.
And just explain to people at home like what you do for a living. Have you had to go back to work? All that. Do you need to go outside soon? What's going on?
Right now, I'm basically out of work because ever since Sandbox VR went under, and then also the entertainment industry is kind of in a weird situation. I mean, luckily before all that, I saved up a bunch from commercial work, so I'm okay for the time being. And so we're still just trying to navigate what's going to happen, like what to do once the entertainment industry opens up again, and like how our production is going to work. We've been able to handle a lot of pre-production stuff through Zoom meetings, through emails, all that stuff. But it's going to be a different story once people get on set.
A question from the chat: was your cough kind of phlegmy, or was it a dry cough? Because Joe mentioned his was dry.
It was dry.
Okay. So
Yeah, I mean it's weird living in LA. I live in Hollywood itself, and it's definitely strange to see that there's so little activity going on. I go on walks, my wife and I go on walks, and sometimes we go to the grocery store, once a week or whatever. And it's just very strange to see how shut down everything is. The 101 has no traffic. Like it's bizarre.
Like if I ever had to drive down the freeway again, it would be an experience that I've never had before.
Yeah, for sure. So just over the weekend, I went to go drop off a gift at my parents' house for Mother's Day. My brothers and I got my mom something, so we went down there and gave them this gift, staying quite a ways apart the whole while. But what was funky was that where they live in a suburb northwest of LA. Where they live, it is completely normal looking. There's just the same number of cars driving around. There's just as many people out. That is to say, not many because it's a suburb, right? But it looks the same. And their experience, it seems so different. It was almost more jarring to me to see that it was so normal looking there, because for me here, it's like very obviously not normal. Hollywood Highlands, like a few blocks away, and it's closed. Like it's very obviously different. Pretty weird.
Yeah. I mean,
I live in a pretty quiet area as well, but it's just been unusually quiet because, just down the street is a whole bunch of restaurants, which used to have a lot of foot traffic, and then now all they do is just takeout. So that's just been a very eerie sight to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like I keep thinking about the whole asymptomatic thing because, I mean, as I mentioned earlier when we were talking to Joe, I feel like there was just one night. I still remember that in the middle of the night, I woke up and I had trouble breathing. And yeah, I had the body aches, the lower body aches that like Joe was talking about. And I remember in that middle of the night, I was like, well, shit, I probably caught this. And here we go. Well, what am I going to do now? And, the thoughts kind of went through my mind. When I woke up in the morning, I was mostly fine. My legs were still a little sore and everything like that. But then it went away. And then I was like, oh, okay, so I guess it was nothing. Maybe it was just, paranoia in the middle of the night. But, hearing your situation and like I said, the fact that 4 people in your house and only one, has shown real signs of it. Like, I'm almost starting to feel like maybe the majority of the people out there might be asymptomatic. And so, that kind of makes me feel like maybe I did have it. Maybe a whole bunch of people had it. Because if I have it, I live with Olaf. And that means I've been giving it to Olaf. And he's fine right now. And he's been with his girlfriend. And, it's an interesting situation. And here, when I found out, when you mentioned that you had it, and I know you guys are in like this gamer house, like it really started kind of getting me thinking about that a lot more.
Well, what I've read is that the guess is that it's somewhere around a quarter of the population maybe asymptomatic. Not that it's a majority, but still, that's a pretty substantial amount of people.
Yeah.
I guess, maybe you should get tested. Like I said, the city of LA is doing it for free.
It's I was actually one of the early. I was one of the early parties to actually get tested. Like they just opened it up when I went and got tested, and so I figured, why the hell not? It turns out it only takes like 5 minutes. So I really encourage anyone who's in SoCal right now, in the chat, James yourself, to go sign up, get tested. It takes very little out of your day, and you never know who you could be saving someone else the inconvenience of getting infected, or just having that extra knowledge alone.
Well, so let people know. I mean, I don't even know how to schedule. Like, how do you schedule a test for this?
All right. Let me quickly double check the website. It was LA COVID PROD.service. If you Google that, it will. The first site up top will take you to the website to sign up, so you can give yourself an appointment for a free test.
Got it.
That's to LA for that. That's nice. So how are you feeling about all of this mentally, separately from the physical, which sounds like it wasn't too bad in your case? What's the emotional mindset?
Honestly, I can't complain. Like I've got all the entertainment, all the things to do I can do in my room. Different activities, different work I can do. I still get some casting director meetings from Zoom. I got plenty of room to train. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of tools in the back of my room. Bunch of games.
Have you had COVID and still been doing workouts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to or not, but then I remember seeing that you're supposed to like kind of keep your lungs working, and then I wasn't sure who to believe, so I just said, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing anyway. Like I don't feel any more tired.
Okay.
Man.
Shout outs, dude. I don't know why not to work out. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that you feel like you're able to.
Yeah, I mean, and before this, I was already training like maybe 6 times a week, so like this is just normal for me, and my lung capacity hasn't really felt any weaker. So, like I was gonna stop the moment I would feel like I'm wheezing, but it just never happened.
Sounds good.
I mean, you know, my fears that I had it are clearly the reason why I'm not working out right now, you know. Otherwise, I would totally, you know, be on my normal workout schedule. Anyway.
Well,
man.
hey, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to address?
At the moment, I think we've covered basically everything. If testing is available where you guys live, I highly encourage it. And yeah, it's like we're all in this together. So do your part, help each other out, and just be good to each other.
Yeah, and I mean,
Sounds good, man. Thanks a lot for coming on.
I mean, one more thing.
Thank you
I mean,
guys
like,
for having me.
obviously that's probably included in there, but you know, for those people who do, you know, like I asked Joe the same question, for those people who do believe it's a hoax, or you know, think that they're not going to catch it, or that it's overblown or anything, like what would you say to them?
Specifically, the ones who think it's a hoax?
Yeah, or just that they're not taking it seriously.
To be, I'll be nice about it. It's take this seriously. We know we've lost people already. We've lost good people to this disease. I don't know you, but I can tell you straight up that this is legit real. And you have a lot of people listening to open up California now. I mean, you have those who are just like complaining that I got to wear a mask while going out to the store. Yeah, those people, can fuck off for all I care. But, you have people who legit, they got bills to pay, they've got kids to feed, like that stuff. I feel for them. Like,
yeah, of course.
We're all hurting. Like they're hurting the most. And so, but, get through this. We all got to be in it together.
Sounds right to me. All right, man. Again, thanks a lot for coming on. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. You all stay safe.
And enjoy being released from the quarantine tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right,
take care.
All right. Well, thanks again to both those fellows for coming on. That was really nice. Good to hear their perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
They're not the only people that we know who have had it. I'm sure you know people as well. I know people in my outside of FGC life too. I know other FGC people who have had it. I'm really, happy for both of them that their situations weren't so dire.
Yeah.
They both have been able to weather it pretty well, it sounds like, and that's really good to hear, at least.
It's really interesting because, one of the cool things about bringing them both on was that, Joe and Eliver's experiences were clearly like opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Like Joe had he was bedridden and in pain, the worst headache ever. And Joe and then Eliver saying that his headache was barely worse than any headache that he's had, before in the past and everything. So, it's really interesting to see the two different sides of it, and a good cautionary tale to people that just because you're not like feeling like you're dying doesn't mean that you might not have you might not have been infected with COVID, and you still have to be careful. And all the stuff that we do isn't necessarily to prevent ourselves from catching it, but it's to prevent us spreading it to other people. And that's the most important things.
And he reiterates in the chat, if you feel sick, don't work out. He's been lucky enough to not feel too bad. But if you do feel sick, that's not something to do.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, you want to say anything else on this subject?
No, just thanks to both Joe and Eliver. And again, like you said, we know a bunch of other FGC guys out there. Shout outs to Dr. Stance, who I know is doing well right now, who caught it as well. I don't know if you know of any other FGC guys who have caught it, but shout outs to all of them. And
I do. I know that Louis Man and DR had
that's
it.
Right,
wow, there's
that's
a bunch
right.
to name. I don't know if I want to go through the whole list, but
okay.
there certainly are a good, I would say, dozen or so people who I know who have had it to varying degrees. And yeah, thankfully, most of them have been okay. Again, terrible news about BlueJ. We talked about that several weeks ago at this point. A big loss to the FGC as a whole, to the Marvel community, to the New York scene. That's
and
that's the worst.
Shout outs to guys like in the chat. Quego says this, but shout outs to Zaffarino, Tommy Two Step. Obviously, there's been other people tangentially in the FGC, Cats Reckless, Miss Gidget, all of them nurses in the world out there doing their best out there to be on the front lines and take care of this stuff. I mean, they are.
Sonic Boom Brad is another one.
Yeah.
There's been a few for sure.
They are the real heroes out there right now doing this day after day. And there was a video out there of a nurse who was just talking about she can barely handle this anymore. It's so devastating to her on a mental capacity to go there day after day, seeing people sick, calling families, letting them know that their loved ones have passed away and they can't even, have a proper funeral for them and everything like that. It's tough out there. It's serious business. So definitely please take it seriously out there.